let's go to our public hearings. And I will start with our public hearing on House Bill 2537A. So I will open that public hearing. Lisa, would you please give us an overview of the bill? And then we have the sponsor to speak about it to us.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the committee. House Bill 2537A allows school districts to use student success funds for payments of student fees, costs, and instructors for career and technical student organizations. This measure passed the House with 52 aye votes, 2 no votes, and 6 excused. There is no fiscal impact and no revenue impact.
Okay, thank you very much, Lisa. All right, it's a pleasure to welcome back Rep. Reardon to tell us about a subject that I know is very dear to his heart. So, Rep. Reardon.
Yes, it is. So much. Thank you, Chair Denbrow and members of the committee. For the record, I am Jeff Reardon, State Representative from District 48, outer Southeast Portland and Happy Valley. You know, as a former shop teacher, I have seen firsthand, the kind of value that career and technical education programs add to our students' education. And as legislators, we together have recognized the value of CTE in the last few sessions with both policy improvements and greater investments. Today, though, I'd like to direct your attention to a vital but little known part of the developing what it takes to develop strong CTE programs, and those are career and technical student organizations, or CTSOs. So CTSOs are co-curricular activities that give students the opportunity to explore careers and hone their skills in a variety of fields. More so, they connect students with industry leaders, local businesses, and skillful mentors, and they create communities and establish examples which can be so critical to first-generation students and students interested in fields that their gender or race have historically been underrepresented in. Through standardized industry-led competitions and leadership training, CTSO students from every corner of the state become workforce ready before stepping foot in a college course or to their first job. And I can't overemphasize the importance of this. Students across the state prepare for state competitions, which means they're all working to develop the skills and knowledge using common industry-approved course materials. Many of you know about Future Farmers of America and all the opportunity provided to students through that program. What too many don't realize is that FFA is actually one of 8 career and technical student organizations recognized in Oregon. I'm going to run down the other 7 just briefly. DECA is Oregon's Emerging Leaders and Entrepreneurs. FBLA is Future Business Leaders of America, is to develop those next captains of industry, if you will. And Family, Career, and Community Leaders of America is Fosters Public Servants. Future Natural Resource Leaders will be the stewards of our environment. Future Health Professionals, or HOSA, they mentor the doctors, nurses, and technicians that our aging population will desperately need. And Skills USA was one of my favorites for training up skilled workers such as welders and carpenters and so forth. And lastly, Technology Student Association, with its significance, is obvious to anyone who has never been, who's been reminded that we really are on mute. So as incredible as they are, Oregon does not provide the funding or support necessary for CTSOs to thrive. And so I have 2 solutions to that for this session. And I won't get into the details of House Bill 2414 now, but it is another program of a similar nature that would just give cash money straight up to the through grant program for CTSOs. This bill's a little bit different. Today, House Bill 2537A makes minor clarifications to the language of the Student Success Act, and I think that clarifications will have a big impact on people and how they can access those funds. So currently, the language of the Student Success Act states that, quote, including career and technical student organization programs. So they're recognized, but our solution is to help districts understand, just kind of go that a little bit further in an important way and kind of talk about how they can be helped. And that changes to say, and quote, and payment of student fees, the cost, and instructors of those programs. So it just indicates the latitude of ways that you might encourage these programs. This small change will support students like Ayanna Brown. And if not for a scholarship that covered the dues and travel expenses associated with FBLA, Ayanna would not have become an FBLA state officer, nor would she have won multiple state championships or become a nationally ranked leader. This small change would support educators like Rhiannon Mills, an FFA and FBLA advisor who for the last 3 years as a CTSO coach was only paid, comes out to about $1 an hour for nights, weekends, and summers spent working with students. And she's one of the lucky ones who even got paid anything at all. So by adding this half a sentence to one of the Student Success Act, we will make it easier for districts to apply for funds that they're already eligible for. So House Bill 2537 as amended, we did remove a section that required connecting school counselors to student CTE experience. I still think it's a good idea, but we took that out. There were some objections to it, so we made it easy for you. And I agree this provision in the original bill would have maybe micromanaged how districts choose to implement their CTE programs. So ultimately, though, I think House Bill 2537 recognizes, and it'll help create more opportunities for the economically disadvantaged students to participate in CTSOs, and for teachers who will get well-earned stipends to cover after-school, weekend, and summer programming. So I urge your support for House Bill 2537A. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Thank you very much, Rep. Reardon. Do you have a minute or two? We have Brian Krieg as well, and we could have him speak and then ask questions.
Absolutely. I'm always glad to appear with Brian.
Okay, that's great. And actually, before I do call him, I do have to say one of the additional losses that the pandemic has given us is CTSO Day here at the Capitol. And Senator Robinson, you have not yet gotten to experience that, but it's a great day when we're invaded by young people from these different CTSOs, people wearing their Future Farmer shirts or jackets, and other organizations talking to us about how much these programs mean to them.
I'm glad you mentioned that. Thank you for remembering that.
Sure. Okay, Brian, you're very welcome.
Chair Denbrow, members of the committee, Vice Chair Thompson, my name is Brian Krieg, and today I'm presenting the Sheet and Air Conditioning Contractors Association, the Plumbing and Mechanical Contractors Association, the State Association of Electrical Workers, Sheet Metal 16, and UA 290 Plumbers and Steam Fitters. I represent about 15,000 tradespeople across the state and well over 250 contractors. And CTE has been an important thing for us for quite a while, getting it revitalized, back on track in the state, getting an opportunity for the kids to get their hands-on learning. We have such great jobs out there, and we're really needing them with an aging workforce. These organizations that I represent, we have been supportive of the CTSO organizations all throughout this process. These groups really do some really wonderful things. For the past 8 years, I've been the co-chair of the state's CTE revitalization grant programs, and we've seen hands-on what the kids do and the enthusiasm out there. And just getting these young people involved is vital to us. The CTSO groups, I have some background in marketing, and I look at this as peer-to-peer marketing. It's really great to when kids who are getting interested in something see others who are enthusiastic about it. And as you said, wearing their jackets, having their competitions, doing things, building their peer-to-peer enthusiasm and support. These programs help build confidence for the young people. And they're, as I say, they're one of the great things we have going on. And I think that covering the modest costs that the Representative Reardon talked to help with those who are instructors for the groups who stay after in the evenings and on the weekends, fees the students might have to pay, other things for small amounts for would be a big help in these programs. I can't think of a much better investment for the state state and being able to access more clearly those funds and student success, I think really matches up with the state's goals and its needs for the future. So with that, that concludes my comments on here. Just I really hope that the committee does pass this bill on. Thank you.
Sure, thank you. Colleagues, any questions for Rep. Reardon or Brian? You know, if the goal of the Student Success Act is to create more student success, I think that CTE programs, they have a connection to student success, don't they, Brian or Rep. Reardon?
Well, I definitely thank you. I'm sitting here thinking of all the other things I wanted to say, and I know your time is precious on these committees, but the idea of having a standard of some kind can't be overlooked, because right now we have state standards, but they're pretty general. And so the thing that gets people focused on, you know, what that industry needs are in a common way across the state. This is a really great way to do that, because the industry is there working with the students, and their curriculum is well spelled out. The other thing I want to really emphasize is the not just the technical skills, but the leadership skills, and that's about half of every program. And so if you go to one of these presentations, one of the district or state level competitions, you see high school students standing on a stage in front of hundreds of other students and parents and interested bystanders, and they're running that, and they just flat own it. And so that type of skill, how do you run a meeting? How do you run a convention? How do you do this thing? Those are the so-called soft skills that we talk about, that every industry talks about being paramount. They always say you can teach them the technical, but not the soft. This does both. And so, you know, I just, again, I really urge your support for this. I can't tell you how strongly I believe in it.
Great. I see we have a question from Senator Robinson.
Yes, I probably should know the answer to this, but these programs, are they in everywhere, K through the late high school and junior colleges, the upper universities? Are they in all of these institutions, or are they centered in a particular segment?
There are programs across the state, Senator. I'm sorry, I'm supposed to say Chair Denbrow, Senator Robinson. Forgive my manners.
Only before 3 o'clock, Jeff.
Okay. I got excited, but they could be. There are programs that each district has to choose to support or not, and then you have to. One of the challenges is recruiting an instructor who's willing to work weekends and after school. So, and it can be either an after school program, or it can be integrated into the curriculum. So when I taught at David Douglas, it was integrated. A key part of the Skills USA program was the one I was involved with, and we used their curriculum by and large within the classes during the day, and then there were outside activities beyond the class day. So,
yeah.
But
so
again,
this is mostly centered in the K through later K through 12.
Yeah. The Student Success Act. The Student Success Act just applies to K-12. And most of these programs are in the high schools. These CTSOs, there's a certain amount of CTE that's in earlier grades, but I think the student organizations where they create these leadership advocacy organizations, I think those are all in high school. Isn't that true, Jeff?
They actually do have programs available at community colleges, and I honestly don't know how many actually are in Oregon or across the country, but they do have community college level programs as well.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's great. And I will say, Senator, you may not know this, but students who graduate from full CTE programs tend to graduate at a much higher rate than other students. Mid 90%. These programs keep them engaged. They keep them involved. They keep them motivated.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, well, thank you, both of you. I think we have this scheduled for a work session already, maybe on Wednesday, and I look forward to moving it forward.
Okay, thanks for having us.
Great. Okay. So with that, I will close our public hearing on House Bill 2537A.